Hi, everybody. Welcome to your 4 to 5. Eric Chilton here with Chad Silver, Lauren Coleman. Gang's all here.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching us on News 2, Fire Stick, Roku, and we're also on the News 2 app.
And coming up this half hour, we're going to be talking about the importance of telling the truth and the downfall of telling too many white lies.
Yes, because they can definitely start to build up. Get you in some trouble there. But first, we want to talk about some big news people around the world are talking about today. Continuing our coverage on NFL player Damar Hamlin. Right now, the 24-year-old Buffalo Bills safety is sedated and getting treatment at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center after suffering a cardiac arrest during last night's game against the Bengals.
Hamlin collapsed after a tackle in last night's game, and you can see both of the players on the ground after this tackle, which actually appeared to be a standard tackle.
Medical personnel rushed to his aid, administering CPR, with the Bills later confirming his heartbeat was restored on the field.
Players on both teams were visibly shaken and gathered to pray on the field. The game was postponed and will not resume this week. It's not clear whether it'll be rescheduled at all.
One of the devices used to restore Hamlin's heartbeat was an automated external defibrillator. You may have seen it before, but do you know how to use it? Let's verify.
We turn to several sources to learn the fast facts and best practices when it comes to AED usage. The FDA says AEDs are designed to treat people experiencing sudden cardiac arrest, and they're most effective when used within minutes of someone's collapse. While some are designed for medical professionals, the ones you'll find in public places like swimming pools, in schools, and in office buildings will be for public use. That means they'll include audio prompt instructions for how to use them, even if you've had no prior training. We checked the laws in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, all of which have some protection for so-called Good Samaritans, preventing liability for the person who stops to help someone in need. In general, the Red Cross outlines these steps for using an AED on an adult or a child over 55 pounds. Someone should call 911, then turn on the AED and listen for its voice prompts. Attach the pads to the victim's dry, uncovered chest and make sure cables are connected to the machine. As it analyzes the person's pulse, make sure no one is touching them. Shout, "Clear," before pressing the shock button if the machine prompts you to do so. After that, or if no shock is advised, begin CPR compressions.
The American Red Cross offers CPR and AED training courses. These include online classes, in-person work, or blended options. Head to their website to find education opportunities near you.
Hey, you could see the emotions on the field last night as players watched medical teams work on Damar Hamlin. There were similar emotions for the millions watching on TV at home. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey met a family that understands those emotions.
The images we saw last night stopped the entire sports world in its tracks. As the nation held its breath, hoping for the best for Damar Hamlin, many families around the country prayed for Hamlin like he was one of their own. However, former high school basketball star Josh Level's family knows all too well how fragile life truly is. Level died after going into cardiac arrest during a basketball game. His father Joseph says these moments put everything into perspective.
Initially, I wondered whether his parents and family were there at the game. It is just a game. The perspective of what is a victory, what is a win, what is really a loss, clearly comes into focus when things like that happen.
We all understand that football is a naturally violent sport, and we all know that injuries are a part of the game. But what happened in last night's game is never expected. So we spoke with Dudley head football coach Stephen Davis about how do you handle traumatic events like the one on the sidelines.
My first thought is this kid gonna be okay? You know, and immediately you think about the kid, how bad is it, his family, and then of course his teammates. So in order for you to be out here, you must love it. But at no cost, you put your life at jeopardy. And that's one of the main things we preach.
Again, at last check, Hamlin was still in the hospital in Cincinnati. His family released a statement thanking everyone for their support.
You know, watching this last night, Chad and I were here, and at first I was thinking, oh, you know, you usually they're on the gurney, thumbs up, out. And when I saw the team gathering around and all taking knees, I said, something's up, you know.
It was, I mean, just crazy.
Surreal.
And I mean, it is extraordinary to see the NFL teams, every NFL team tweeting and posting condolences to a single NFL player. And I mean, they've all changed their profile pictures to Hamlin, number 3, on their social media platforms. I mean, it's just extraordinary to see the support that has come out in support of him and the Bills.
And you could see them on the field, both teams, not only his teammates, but the opponents, the coaches. Some of them even had tears in their eyes because something like that is scary. A lot of people were also tweeting online that when they watched it home live, they were crying at home. So I think it's great that they did stop the game, because I just can't see how anyone could jump back into something, especially seeing something as traumatic as that happen.
You're absolutely right, Lauren. Like I said, injuries are part of all sports, right? Especially football. But when you see the true emotion and the raw emotion on the field amongst the players, some of these people who are supposed to be considered the toughest people in the world, right? And they're bawling, crying. That was automatic red flag to me that there was something life-threatening going on.
And he's so young too.
24. Couldn't imagine. 6th round draft pick, only been in the league. Well, this is his 3rd year. He's truly living his dream.
Pitt, right?
Played at Pitt, yeah. 6th round draft picks, they could be on the roster 2 months, 3 months. Nothing is guaranteed. And for this young man to be able to accomplish this goal, be in the rotation regularly for Buffalo, and then to have his dream snatched from him like this, it's heartbreaking. But I do love the way the community in the NFL has just rallied.
My wife's from Buffalo, and my brother-in-law still lives there, and he said, you know, the Bills Mafia is a real thing. That's a family.
Absolutely.
And they take it personally, and they said the city's upside down right now, so they're all praying for him.
Have you seen how many people have donated to his charity?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, like $3 million overnight to his charity that I believe provides toys for kids.
It's a toy drive.
Toy
Oh,
runs.
wow.
Yep.
I mean, just.
And so apparently he started this foundation when he was still at Pitt. And that's why he started the GoFundMe, because he didn't have any money to actually supply these toys for these kids. And so, you know, when he started this, his last year at Pitt, his goal was $2,500. You know, of course, he exceeded that goal that year, was able to provide, and then his foundation took over and has done this every Christmas. But now to see these funds that they have now,
Go a long time.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's incredible. Jalen, thanks.
Praying for
well,
his
throughout the
recovery.
night, we will have team coverage on Damar Hamlin's condition and the impact it is having across the country, so stay tuned.
All right, let's talk about our forecast and what we'll see locally. Temperatures, we are really on the mild side, in the 60s, and we'll remain there, we think, through tomorrow as well, as we see those high temperatures probably hovering around 66 degrees heading into Wednesday. The biggest story, by the way, we're having some tech issues right now, so just hang with me. I'll talk through the forecast. But right now, most of our temperatures are in the mid-60s. That's what we were calling for yesterday. We will see that again, I think, as we head into tomorrow. The biggest story is going to be the fact that we could see some rain out there. There we go. The temperatures right now, 67 at Greensboro, 68 Burlington, the RDU Airport down east is at 70 degrees. Remember, our normal high this time of the year is 49. Yes, that's how cool we should be. In fact, our forecasted low last night was 49 degrees. All right, winds, we're seeing it, but most of it south and west of the Triad proper, but 16 mile per hour wind gust in Wilkesboro. Some of these have been upwards of 20 miles per hour. You see it in Galax there. Breezy conditions may continue into the night and tomorrow. As that front approaches, the winds will start to pick up. So those wind gusts will go up. 58 for the overnight low tonight is very mild. Scattered showers moving in this evening. Tomorrow, showers are likely with a high of 66. And one thing you may not expect, and if you hear it, don't be shocked, a rumble of thunder by midday on your Wednesday. That is possible. Probably not a thunderstorm event by any stretch of the imagination, but maybe just an isolated little rumble of thunder. Watch for that, and that'll be midday, we think, because this front is pretty strong. I mean, we see some decent amount of rain with this. We could end up with anywhere between a half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch of rain total with this system before it moves by. So let's take a look at the long range. So the rain moving in for us overnight tonight, hanging with us through most of Wednesday, maybe into Wednesday afternoon. 66 degrees, 62 on Thursday, and with lots of sunshine for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Highs hover around 50 for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then next week, a slight rain chance Monday, but cooler at 49. Tuesday, mostly cloudy and 42.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Greensboro police have arrested the person they believe killed 32-year-old Natasha Walker. Her cousin says they were out celebrating New Year's Eve when someone shot her Sunday morning on Cridland Road. Family told us Walker ran several businesses and was a mother of 2. The investigation is ongoing, but police aren't looking for any more suspects.
People are moving into the newly constructed pallet homes at Pomona Park in Greensboro. We met one man who told us he is grateful to have one.
So I just come out here and, I do what I got to do, work, where my money takes me, do what I got to do. I mean, that's all I can do until I get better, until I do better. I ain't trying to be no burden on nobody or beg nobody for nothing or nothing like that. I just do what I got to do. And this is a good, little thing here until, you can get yourself situated.
So far, 17 people have moved into the homes. 22 others will move in next week. The Interactive Resource Center is responsible for selecting people among the homeless population to live in these houses. Duke Energy is apologizing for the rolling power outages over Christmas weekend. It said cold temperatures caused a huge demand that led to equipment failure. A representative said normally they'd pull energy from another grid, but since the winter storm was far-reaching, that wasn't possible. The company says it'll explore other options for future weather events and alert customers sooner.
If you're feeling lucky, the Mega Millions drawing is tonight. The jackpot is now sitting at $785 million. Officials say it's the 6th largest jackpot in U.S. history. If you want to play, you've got until 9 p.m. The drawing begins at 11. A new year means new goals or resolutions. Maybe for you, it's exercising more or spending less time on social media. For many, it's saving more money. I spoke with a financial advisor about the best ways to stay financially fit this year.
People just want to be in a better financial position than they were the year before or the years before.
Money expert Janae Adams helps people tackle debt for a living. She says folks often fall short when they don't set attainable goals.
Let's say you want to save $200 in a month. Then guess what? You can go bigger and bigger from there. So take it one step at a time instead of trying to all get everything at one time, because that's just not going to work.
With tax season right around the corner, Adams recommends holding on to that refund check.
Whatever money you're getting, and start to build up what I call the in case you're breathing fund or your mercy fund of at least $1,500. If you can't do $1,500, do $500. Whatever that tax refund is, use it to build up your financial future, not to buy more things.
If you're looking to gain more income, Adam suggests picking up extra hours at work or find ways to turn your passion into profit.
I'm going to say a hobby, something that you do for free already, but figure out how you can monetize it. You'll be so surprised when you start to monetize that hobby, it may become a side business or a full-time entrepreneurship venture in the future.
Lastly, don't give up. If you fall off, reset and try again. Make it a goal to not have the same resolutions year after year. So I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely had saving more money as my resolution time and time again. And I think the biggest part where I fall short is setting those attainable goals. You know, when you get your paycheck, you say, I'm going to put all of my paycheck into savings.
Yeah, right.
And then an emergency happens, like you get a flat tire, and then you have to dig into that fund. So I think just setting a couple $100s aside, and maybe you get to the point where you save a few $1,000s to the side, but not going in too big, too strong.
So I'm scared to do this, but I want to do it. So I manually put, a certain amount each paycheck over. And I thought to myself, why not have that automatically drafted so I don't even see it? But, I think that's what I need to do, because then the temptation of going, well, maybe next time,
Right. It's like your 401k, like when you don't even see it.
Don't see it, that's right.
I recently started doing that, and you just start to see your savings grow over time because you don't even think about it. So I have it set up to do it every other week. And so I think that's a great thing to do.
See, for me, I would love to be in a better situation financially, but I really just can't get out of the lifestyle that I'm living because I really like it. I like what I spend money on, I like where I save money, and I'm just not willing to budge.
And maybe it works for you. Maybe I think a lot of times there's people who have a lot of debt that they need to pay off.
Yeah,
so maybe they do need to change your lifestyle. Maybe you don't need to spend $60 on a meal every other weekend.
Right.
But if it's working for you, hey, I don't see anything wrong with it.
The only time that you'll notice it is when you get older and you're looking at that 401k. That's when, because I remember at one point in my life, I was like, oh, I need to pick up the speed. And I went to a financial advisor and asked them, they said, yes, you need to be putting more in there. So
It'll pay off. I think one of the biggest things is starting to talk with kids about money at a young age, having that financial literacy. So I think talking to your kids, I really don't understand why it's not mandatory in school.
I don't either.
It should be.
I made my kids, when they got into high school, I said, let's show a budget. Like, how much here's what our power bill is. And they're like, oh my gosh, right?
So we can't have McDonald's every night?
Right.
Yes,
That's
if you want to
why.
keep the lights on, you cannot have a
You
four-piece
can eat
McNugget.
you can eat your McRibs in the dark. You have a choice. We'll be right back.
All that was all of us shifting over, so.
Yeah, we've got some rain on the way for the Triad, probably moving in tonight, staying with us through first half of the day, let's say, tomorrow, before it starts to exit away, and that should happen by tomorrow evening. And then we'll see clear skies moving in, but maybe 3/4 of an inch of rain or so, a little less across the region. We're at 67 right now, at least at PTI, and 69 in Charlotte, 73 Fayetteville, and Wilmington with 73. Myrtle Beach a little bit cooler at 67. If we look back to the mountain communities, Boone's instrumentation not reporting right now. We'll check on that, but 61 in Asheville. Really mild for this time of the year, right? 49, that's our normal high. And here we are, what, 17, 18 degrees above normal for this time of the year. 58 for tomorrow morning. Yes, we did put a thunderstorm icon here. Will you see a big thunderstorm? Probably not. Could you hear a rumble of thunder here and there? Yes. Mostly rain, though, as this system moves by. It's really mild, though. There's that 64 midday temp and a high of 66 for Wednesday. Here's what the radar looks like now. Some of that rain already reaching that Allegheny, Ash, and Watauga area. It'll overspread the region, though, as we head into the evening and the overnight hours and into tomorrow. That's a pretty, you can see a defined cold front right there. It'll become a little more muddled as it works its way over the mountains, but then it'll reorganize itself again, which we see all the time with fronts when they come by. But rain, and yes, especially in the deep south, they could see thunderstorms down there. For us, we were talking about that rumble of thunder, and a lot of the precipitation associated with that front should be clearing our area tomorrow. Here's what it looks like. High resolution futurecast. Some of this rain coming in overnight tonight. Here's the majority of it right there. This is Wednesday, anywhere Wednesday morning till about 2 to 3 p.m. That was 1 p.m. Now you see here we are into the night. That's 2 a.m. Thursday morning, and we clear out nicely. Lots of sunshine actually through most of the weekend. We expect to see sunshine, I think, for Thursday, Friday, Saturday before we go partly cloudy coming in on Sunday. Let's take a look at our forecast. That overnight low tonight of 58 degrees, and then we'll see the rainy Wednesday with a high temperature of 66. And we'll talk more about that long-range outlook. There we go. It didn't come up for a second. Sunshine Thursday, Friday, 62 and 50. We're back to normal there. 49 and 51 for Saturday and Sunday.
All right. I am talking about telling the truth.
Hello, Facebook. Happy New Year.
Hi, everybody. You were just seeing the Winterfest camera. No one is out there because it's Tuesday, and that means it's curling day. But you should have seen the cameras the last couple of weeks. So many people out there having fun and just enjoying the winter break from school. Eric Chilton, what has the winter break been like for your family?
I'm ready for school tomorrow. They'll be back tomorrow. You remember what's the line from the Christmas song? And Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again.
Right.
No, yeah, we were joking with the kids today about that, so they'll be ready to go. But it will be a rainy morning too for the kids. Back, so parents need to think about that.
Hey, people on Facebook, while you're on Facebook, you should go join our 4 to 5 club. Just type in 4 to 5. Click join group and we will let you in. Also, next half hour, we're going to be talking about Girl Scout cookies. Do y'all have a favorite?
I have plenty of favorites, but I do like the Samoas, or caramel delights, as some people call them.
That's my favorite.
Those
really,
are so
anything
good.
with peanut butter.
Oh, like the
what's the new one?
The
Adventurefuls?
not Do-si-dos, but the tagalongs. They taste like
Yes.
Reese's Cups to me.
The new one, the Adventurefuls, moved into the #1 spot.
Oh,
for me.
wow. Those were really good. They were delicious. And then you can't go bad with a shortbread, a trefoil.
Remember last year, I wonder if they're going to be doing more of this year, where they're having like a pairing, like a cookie pairing at like a bar where they have like drinks that you should eat or drink with the cookies.
Like alcoholic beverages?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. So with a Thin Mint, what would you have? Like a Merlot?
I don't
or
know. But
Sauvignon Blanc?
some local restaurants have done this. So we're going to be talking about that next half hour. We'll see you soon, Facebook. We are taught at an early age that telling the truth is the right thing to do. But as adults, being honest isn't always the easiest.
Yeah, think about a time you may have told a friend you were too busy to avoid going out when the truth of the matter is you just felt like being alone. I think we can all say we're guilty of that one. But what stopped you from being truthful? Psychology expert Blanca Cobb explains.
Blanca, hey there, how you doing? What is the downfall to telling these types of white lies?
Well, what happens when people start telling white lies, they do it in social situations because they're fearful that the other person, they're going to hurt somebody's feelings, the other person can't handle the truth, they're going to avoid problems. It's a protection factor. And also, and people are not going to want to hear this, it's a lack of courage factor. You just don't have the gumption to really say, this is how I feel. So not only are you trying to protect somebody else, you're trying to protect yourself.
So what should you do differently so you can lead a more truthful life?
Well, you need to ask yourself, like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Are they going to stop being your friend? Are they never going to call you again? No, the likelihood is no. What you would be surprised is when you tell somebody how you really feel and say, hey, look, I know you asked me to go out, but I'm wiped. I'm tired. Let me take a rain check. They're going to appreciate you more because they know they can count on you. They can count on what you're saying because they get to know you instead of always second guessing. Well, do they really mean what they say? And that's not a good feeling because it's hard to build a lasting friendship or relationship that way.
I think for me, the hardest part is when you tell these little white lies, you forget who you told them to versus what you told another person on the same topic.
That is a really good point that you bring up because a lot of lies are anchored in the truth, but unless you have this like super crazy good memory, you do get confused and then it's like, uh-oh. And then sometimes you don't want to talk because you're not sure what you've said to whom. I mean, that's an excellent point that you bring up. You get tripped up on your own words.
Got to look at the long-term consequences. You don't want to lie to this friend and that friend and then end up at the same venue. And I thought you weren't feeling well this evening.
And you know that we have seen before when kids will call their parents out for lying about something. That is a small white lie. Do you have any advice for parents telling their kids, you know, how to handle a situation like that?
You bring up another great point. And so parents, this is really a learning lesson where parents just model the appropriate behavior and say, when you're talking to somebody and your kid's around, this is hard for me to tell you. This makes me uncomfortable, but I want to level with you. This is how I feel. Or for example, let me bring up cooking. People always bring up cooking. Someone makes a roast beef for you and you don't like it. So instead of saying, this is yummy, guess what's going to happen? They're going to continue to make this roast beef that you can't stand. Instead, have a conversation and say, I really appreciate you taking the time to make this roast beef. I know you put a lot of time and effort into it. There's just something about it I'm not crazy about. And you can say, this is hard for me to tell you because I know the effort and I don't want to hurt your feelings. So if you just like tell on yourself in that respect, you would be amazed at how people will be responsive to your truthfulness.
Blanca, I have one quick question. So not just telling a lie, but what about when people leave out the truth? They just don't say the truth.
That's a lie of omission. And again, when people find out the truth and what you're leaving out, they're like, hey, I can't trust this person because they're not going to level with me. And not only do you hurt a friendship, you can hurt a potential romantic relationship, a business relationship. It's like this web that just never stops.
All right, Blanca, thanks so much. You can continue the conversation with her. Just search for her on Facebook. We'll be right back.
We're back. 30 more minutes ahead. Right. Well, and a lot more news than that. We don't stop after 30 minutes. We're here for hours. Welcome to the 4 to 5. Eric, Chad, and Lauren with you.
Lots of fun to be had. Thanks for watching us on News 2 Fire Stick and the WFNY News 2 app.
This is a very exciting half hour because we are talking about Girl Scout cookies. They have arrived in the Triad, and we're going to take you to a warehouse where they have 50,000 boxes of Girl Scout cookies.
Now I'm hungry.
Eat your way out of the building.
That's right, yeah.
But right now, it's back to business in Washington, D.C. You're taking a live look. We're going to take that live look at our nation's capital where lawmakers are in session.
The biggest event happening today, selecting the next Speaker of the House. Republican leader Kevin McCarthy wants the role, but does not have enough votes to pull it off.
A speaker has not been elected.
As the 118th Congress convenes, House Republicans have control, but not consensus.
No one in this body has worked harder for this Republican majority than Kevin McCarthy.
But Republican leader Kevin McCarthy of California fell short of the majority 218 votes to win the speakership in the first round of voting. Members of the Hardline Freedom Caucus are withholding support after their demands were rejected.
We said, we can get you to 218 with this. He stood up and he shook our hands and he said, I can't do it.
I will always fight to put the American people first, not a few individuals that want something for themselves.
For their part, Democrats united behind New York's Hakeem Jeffries as their next leader. He collected 212 votes. Many in the GOP were hoping to avoid any spectacle that divides the party and its leadership in the first days of this new Congress.
Do you solemnly swear?
Across the Capitol, Vice President Kamala Harris swore in the senators-elect. Kentucky Republican Mitch McConnell became the longest-serving party leader in Senate history.
We have a lot of work ahead of us, so I hope we can find some ways to come together and not succumb to gridlock.
Working to advance President Biden's agenda, Senate Democrats retain a slim majority in their chamber of this newly divided Congress. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Greensboro police have arrested the person they believe killed 32-year-old Natasha Walker. Her cousin says they were out celebrating New Year's Eve when someone shot her Sunday morning on Cridland Road. Family told us Walker ran several businesses and was a mother of 2. This investigation is ongoing, but police aren't looking for any more suspects. Right now, Buffalo Bills player Damar Hamlin is sedated in an Ohio hospital after collapsing on the field during last night's game against the Bengals. Medical personnel rushed to his aid, administering CPR, with the Bills later confirming his heartbeat was restored on the field. The game was postponed and will not resume this week. They have not released any date the game might be back.
A new study finds COVID vaccines can limit the severity of the virus even in places where many people are infected. The study occurred inside California prisons. During a 6-month period among inmates with an 81% vaccination rate, researchers identified more than 22,000 COVID cases, but reported just 31 hospitalizations and 0 deaths. While the height of COVID has passed for many of us, health experts say the disruption to families with small children isn't getting any better. They blame a combination of COVID, the flu, and RSV. Even parents with babies that have less severe cases of COVID have run into 10-day isolation rules, pulling them away from work. Doctors say it'll likely continue for months as we push through winter.
Right now, there are several new North Carolina laws impacting your wallet. The state gas tax is higher, which means higher costs at the pump, while the income tax rate dropped, bringing the chance of larger refunds. Experts say keeping up with the changes could mean more funds in your pocket.
North Carolina's gas tax is up 2 cents since the new year hit, up from 38.5 cents to 40.5 cents. After a steady decline in gas prices, North Carolinians will see an increase, which means thinking outside the box when running around town.
It might be as simple as saying, okay, maybe we do our grocery runs, twice a week instead of every time we run out of milk. It might mean that we don't just drop off something at the post office, we wait until we have something else to go drop it off.
So this increased tax this year means drivers filling up a 15-gallon tank once a week could spend $15 to $20 more this year than last year.
What I would suggest in 2023 is you add an extra $1 or $2 to your budget for gas every week, and that should make up the difference.
Although it might be a pain to your pocketbook, the state uses the gas tax as the main funding source for road projects. But it's not all bad news. North Carolina is still one of the best states in the country for individual income tax, and that didn't change in 2023. In fact, state income tax is now 4.75%, and cuts will continue until 2027 until it hits 3.99%.
Income state tax is going down in the next couple of years. It 0.25, 0.5 doesn't sound like a lot to people, but if you're, for example, making $50,000 a year, that's an extra couple $100 you could potentially be getting back.
It's a flat rate, which means regardless of income, everyone pays at the same rate. With inflation still holding strong, the money you save here could help offset the higher costs that seem to be going nowhere soon.
Use that money from your lower taxes to offset some of the higher things that you're going to see in 2023.
We have to look at the temperatures out there right now. We are extremely mild. Normal high this time of the year is in the upper 40s, and here we are at 67 degrees. Look at Winston-Salem at 69, high point 68, 68 in Burlington. Head to the south, Troy, Albemarle, and Pinehurst are all at 70 degrees. Mild weather continues for us throughout tonight and tomorrow. Then we see some changes coming up by the time we get to Friday. Things will be dramatically different, back to normal, really. It'll sound like we're going through a cold snap, but it's actually where we should be this time of the year. 58 for the low tonight, scattered showers and clouds. Winds will start to pick up with the approach of that front. Southwest at 10 and gusting to about 20. It goes up tomorrow to winds out of the south 10 to 15 and gusting to 30. Unusual for this time of the year, but we could hear a rumble of thunder around lunchtime tomorrow when that front is moving by. Otherwise, it's just scattered showers. Now, for our area now, clouds building in, but here's the front. One thing to note, we are lucky because if you head farther to the south where it's even warmer, more mild than where we are, we're seeing tornado warnings in parts of the deep south too. So we will not see that. But this far to the north, we think an isolated thunderstorm is not out of the question, but it should not be severe. Quick look at the 7-day forecast shows those high temperatures going from the 60s for Wednesday and Thursday. And by the way, Thursday through Saturday, all sunshine. And then we hover around 50 for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Go, I was supposed to say ooh and girl, and it came out as goo. So Girl Scout cookie season is underway. As you might know, the program allows girls to serve their community and grow life skills.
The Girl Scout Cookie Program is an iconic part of the Girl Scout experience. It gives girls an opportunity to build key business skills and really to be entrepreneurs in their own right.
The local chapter has a new program called Cookies for a Cause with the goal of supporting a different cause each year. This year, they're working with Meals on Wheels to bring Girl Scout cookies to seniors.
Today, we got a special behind-the-scenes look at all the cookies to celebrate the start of the selling season. 50,000 cases of cookies are stored in this warehouse in Winston-Salem. I'm talking Thin Mint, Samoas, trefoils, so many cookies, and yum. We asked you on Facebook which ones are your favorite. Amy likes the peanut butter cookies. Linda is a fan of the peanut butter ones and the Thin Mints. Danny says the Thin Mints are addictive. And then Lou Ann says she likes all of them. I'm with you, Lou Ann.
Agreed.
I like all of them too.
Could you imagine being in that warehouse?
No, that'd be too tempting, man. If you saw stacks and stacks of these things.
That's the thing about the Girl Scout cookies. You know, they say only eat 2 or 3. You're gonna eat the whole row. At least that's me. A whole sleeve.
If you should only eat 2 or 3, then they should only be sold in packs of 2 or 3.
Yeah, I know. You can't just have one.
55 cents for the one little Thin Mints in the freezer, man. Those are great.
Oh, that is really good.
Oh, yeah. And I know we've seen this in past years where different bars or restaurants would do pairings where they pair up specific cookies with drinks, and then they just, you know, they do pairings for all sorts of things.
Cookies and cocktails.
Cookies and cocktails. I like that, but I just love cookies and milk a little too much. So maybe a martini that has like a milk element to it or something.
Something that's sweet. It had to be sweet to dip it in the drink or something.
Like a rum chata.
Yes. Now we're talking. We digress. We're going to take a break now before things get out of control. We'll see you in a bit.
Like this, so they would usually do like a dark beer with like a sweeter cookie or like a chocolate cookie or something. All right, so check out this picture. It's a bag, and it has body lotion, it has toothpaste, a toothbrush, socks, earplugs, mouthwash. How would you describe what we are seeing right here?
Basic needs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
All right, so this right here is like a bag that an airline would give you if you were stranded or you were delayed and you didn't have your bag.
Okay. Like an overnight bag almost.
Like an overnight bag, but you can't get your luggage because, it's, whatever. Okay, so sometimes you're so mad at the delay that you're not really grateful for this bag. Is that, would that be correct?
I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you don't show it, but inside you're really.
No, there are plenty of people who show it. Yeah, I've shown it once or twice, but
shown it.
Shown it.
Nice.
Okay, so sometimes you're not all that grateful about the Amenity bag, but I'm going to show you something that will make you look at this Amenity bag in a very different way. Take a look. These are pictures of people in Ukraine. These people are getting these Amenity kits.
Nice.
The civilians are often running from their homes, living in shelters. They do not have the basics. American Airlines and the Michael Lewis team helped get these kits to the folks over the holidays. And it's all part of a donation mission that started here in Greensboro in the spring of 22.
Other larger organizations are taking care of food and medicine and all those things. What they are running out of is personal hygiene items. I sent you a picture of one. There's a table that has, I think, 3 or 4 toothbrushes in it because everyone is looking for those items.
Okay, so this is how it all started. The Triad Zone's Scott Silknitter traveled to Poland in April of 2022 because he wanted to make sure the donations from folks here in Greensboro who were donating like toothpaste and toothbrushes and stuff like that were being shipped to the right place, and they were making it to the people who needed it. So now it had moved on to the American Airlines, who had donated all of those kits, which is really cool. We're used to instant gratification. This took a little bit longer, but the impact still there for sure.
Yeah, you could just see the smiles on the faces in the photos that you showed, and those are really nice kits. Really good quality bags.
I mean, that's you forget about basics. You know what I mean? You
Right.
don't think about
You take
that.
it for granted.
It's so easy. Yeah, right. Simple.
Yeah, so there's always something else, right? So Scott and that group, they started the Amenity Kit donation drive. Now they're looking at getting it done for veterans here at home. So that's going to be like the next thing to move it forward.
I like that.
I like the name Amenity Kits too.
It sounds very fancy,
It
doesn't
does,
it?
it
Amenity
does.
Kit.
And I've been stranded in airlines plenty of times. I don't ever remember receiving one of these.
I never got one
really?
either.
Yeah, I don't
Never.
remember
I
that.
can think
I
of some
got one
times
of
I
those.
probably needed one.
Yeah, and I can think of maybe once or twice that I got one. And it was like a little sack. It wasn't as nice as those Amenity kits. And it had like a toothbrush and toothpaste and whatever else. But like what you really need is like a pair of PJs, right? If you're going to stay in some hotel overnight, and all that other kind of stuff. But we digress,
I
right?
use that for
we
a
need to be
reason
grateful.
shop.
Right.
Yeah. Right. We'll keep you posted. And we know that you in the Triad have big hearts. So we'll let you know when all that stuff happens. Be right back.
Okay, so over the hey Facebook, how are you?
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Hi, Facebook.
Over the last couple of weeks, since the kids have been off break, I've been loving watching this camera out at the WFMY News 2 Piedmont Winterfest because I just love to see all the people and what they do, and then I like the falls too. I have to
we
admit.
watch that too. Watch for that too. I like to see when the kids have the little helper things that help them stay up.
Ah,
or whatever,
yes.
And they're even struggling with that. It's so funny. That would be me though. I'm horrible on that.
Right. I haven't been out there this year. I know Lauren, you got to go out there that first day.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You were killing it out there.
Yes, it was so much fun. And I'm not like the best skater in the world, but if you can rollerblade, you can definitely ice skate.
Wait, well, that was the Greensboro Science Center.
Oh yeah, and Brad, can you go back to that camera?
Was that the hippo cam?
I think it's hippo cam. We haven't seen this shot in a while. I wonder if maybe the hippos
it's
are.
too cold for them. Well, no,
But it's like almost
today,
70 degrees.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see hiding her hair. What are their names? I always forget.
I don't even know. I just like to think that their name is Fiona because they're a hippo.
Fiona. I love this one, the Shark Tank thing. It's awesome.
Yep.
You know they have to put on scuba gear and go in there and clean that every now and again. Can you imagine? And they say, I said, why don't the mild weather, that's for sure. If you were watching on Facebook, you heard our conversation about the hippo cameras out there. If you didn't, you need to be on Facebook right now. Behind the scenes. 67 degrees in Greensboro, 68 in Burlington High Point, 69 in Winston-Salem, and 68 in Asheboro. So very mild. Normal high, 49 degrees this time. Some of those readings were 20 degrees above normal. That puts it into perspective. 58 the overnight low tonight, scattered showers, clouds. And then tomorrow there is a chance of maybe a little isolated rumble of thunder in the middle of the day. To the south, and I mean the deep south, like Alabama and Louisiana, that neck of the woods, we're seeing tornado warnings around there, and we will not see that here because it'll be slightly cooler. It's really warm in the deep south right now, but watch for that isolated rumble of thunder tomorrow. Here's what's happening with the radar now. Allegheny, Ashe, and Watauga counties already starting to see a little bit of rain, but the majority of this moves in tonight into the overnight hours for sure, but a little bit earlier. We think even around 8 or 9 we could see a shower or two in the western Piedmont, and then it gets heavier. The actual front will not move through until tomorrow at midday, and that's why we're talking about that chance of a rumble of thunder or two, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm. But this moves by tomorrow, smooth sailing back behind it. We stay mild, though, not only for tomorrow, but again on Thursday. I think we'll still be in the 60s. It's not until Friday that things really start to change for us. If you look at the timing of all this, this is at Wednesday morning, and we'll stop it right there at 1:35. So the majority of the rain by 1 o'clock is moving toward Raleigh. And then after that, it's kind of a variably cloudy sky into Wednesday night. Thursday, partly cloudy to mostly sunny, but we'll see those temperatures still hovering around 62. After that, big changes coming up. Lots of sunshine and cooler, back to 50-ish for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for that matter. Sunny Thursday, Friday, and Saturday actually, and partly cloudy Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Cooler next week, even 42 on Tuesday of next week.
2023 is already shaping up to be a major year for travel. Experts say vacations are expected to top last year's vacations.
The new trend is immersive stays, like combining hotel bookings with experiences like meal tastings or workshops.
Experiences which are meaningful and which are thoughtful make a big difference.
Half of people surveyed say they're traveling to make up time lost during the pandemic, and even more say their plans are already in motion.
What are your travel plans for 2023? I asked you on Facebook. Brian Warner says, I'm going to visit at least 7 states and 1 country.
Nice.
Morgan Nelms wrote, trying to plan a tropical vacation for our 1-year anniversary and a trip to Disney. Rich Tuck, we have 3 cruises booked and a trip to Europe. Okay, Rich.
Give me the number, Rich.
And then Yolanda Adams says, traveling to Denver, Colorado this weekend. Not sure about any other future travels. People got some big plans this year.
Huge.
3 cruises.
I'm hitting one of those big birthday milestones this year.
Okay.
The big 4-0. So I'm gonna celebrate it in Aruba. I just
nice.
a bunch of friends, and we'll see what happens. So.
When would that be?
In March.
Is that when your birthday is?
So you've already
be there during my birthday.
So you've already planned it.
Already planned it. We've got 20 to 25 people on board, so it's gonna be pretty.
That's fun.
That's gonna be a great time.
I'm not looking forward to turning 40, but I think if I was in like a fun place, then I think
makes it a lot easier.
40 is the new 30, by the way.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So my birthday is January 18th, but my wife, I've told both of you this, has a surprise trip for me next week. I don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
Thursday. through Saturday.
What are your thoughts about a surprise trip?
So I love that. She hates that. I did it once for her and she loved it, but she said don't ever do it again. She likes to be in control of the plan and the whole thing. But for me, I love it.
It's exciting because you've been talking about this
Yes,
for a
it's
few
driving me
weeks now. He's like trying to ask all these questions and she's like, stop asking me.
I even asked the kids, did she tell you? Even little Drew's 9. She's like, I'm not saying a word.
Oh, she's already white lying.
I know.
That's funny.
That's right.
How about you, Lauren?
I have a couple of trips planned, so I'm planning to go to Napa Valley in the spring, so still getting the ground running on those plans. And I went to Mexico last fall, gonna go with those same group of college friends, and we're thinking about possibly the Bahamas this year, but we're gonna plan something for later in the fall. So
Have you ever
I'm
been
excited
to Napa
about that.
before?
I have not been to Napa before. I haven't been to California in like 4 years, so
love it.
excited.
I haven't been either. All right, you want to come to Napa with us?
Let's go.
Hey, come first check out the 4 to 5 live stream. You're missing out. We talk about all sorts of things. We even have an exclusive Facebook group. It's called the 4 to 5 Club. Just search for it on Facebook and click Join Group. We'll be right back.
Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Checking the mic, miking the check. Check 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, mic check, mic check.
Getting people approved or trying to get people in? Well, the IRC said that city's been kind of an issue. Why can I hear myself? Check. Hello? Why can I hear myself? My mix and minus is on. Anyone? Maybe? Did they take it off? Hello? I can't hear myself anymore.
It's time for my 2 cents. Okay, I know. A lot of you reaching out to me on social media and through emails asking about the dog. The dog is this. Take a look. If you don't know the story, real quick, a friend of a neighbor actually found this dog, and they reached out to everybody trying to find a home for him, couldn't find it, and they said they were going to take him to the shelter, but the shelter said he only had 72 hours if they took him in because they were full, and then they'd have to do what they have to do. Well, this dog, we decided to keep him for a while to kind of nurse him back to health. So we did, took him to the vet, all of that. Everybody asking, what happened? Well, My wife and I were worn down. You can see by the images that the kids absolutely love this guy. My littlest, Drew, my only girl, she named him Lucky because he is lucky, but really, we're the ones that's lucky. This dog found his way into our hearts. And I can tell you, and you can see by the images, all of my kids just worship this dog, especially Drew. She sleeps close to him, takes naps with him. They're very rarely separated. And all of the kids fawn all over this dog. He gets more love than pretty much anybody else in the house. And I'll have to say this, I grew up with dogs, and a dog completes a house. It makes a house a home. It did for me growing up, and it's doing the same thing for my kids, and also for me and my wife. So you take one look at this face, and all you can say is, welcome home. Welcome home, Lucky. We're lucky to have you. That's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Tonight, an inside look at the living conditions at Pomona Park. We hear from one resident staying in the Pallet Home community.
And it's not unusual to have rain moving into the area, but thunderstorms, there's a possibility tomorrow. We'll talk about it.
But first at 5 o'clock, words cannot accurately express the emotions surrounding the Monday night football game between the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals.